Hey family, welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Roni, and this is part 3 of a 4-part series. So if you're just coming in and you're getting this one, just check the description below for part 1 and part 2. Start there and then work your way back here so everything kind of makes sense. Now in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about, so this was originally supposed to be a 3-part series, right? And I decided to add a part in between parts 2 and 3 because of the kind of questions that I was getting on part 1. Now this video can basically be called the mindset of a freelancer, because I got so many questions concerning when is the right time to quit your job, how do I get contracts fast, you know, how do you basically fast track the process? And honestly, it's just not an overnight process. When I started freelancing 6 years ago, it took me 6 months to replace my income, meaning I was making freelancing what I was making at my full-time job, but I still didn't quit until another year later, because my original goal when I went into freelancing, and a lot of people's goal when they start, is to make more money on the side, not to necessarily replace what I'm doing and leave what I'm doing just to freelance. That wasn't my goal in the beginning. So for me, on top of it not being an overnight process, because I went in with that mindset that I'm looking to build something, I was okay doing the things in the short term to get the long-term success. This is what I mean. So for example, I would take smaller jobs that maybe didn't pay as much, maybe were short-term contracts, something I didn't really necessarily like you don't have to be passionate about everything that you do. I wasn't passionate about anything that I was doing at the time, and I did them to the best of my ability. I got great ratings. I had a great profile with lots of 5-star ratings because I gave exceptional work to clients, even though I didn't necessarily feel like I was getting paid what I deserved at the time. No, that boosted my profile to put me into top rated programs. It got me seen by more employers, because when you're doing really well on Upwork or even any other platform, they like to promote their best freelancers. So once you get in those ratings, you get promoted and you start seeing clients that have bigger budgets, bigger income, and are willing to pay you what you actually want for what you actually want to do. So my biggest tip there is be patient and keep the end in mind. You know, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat humble beginnings. Don't sweat it if you apply for your first 3 jobs and you don't get any interviews. Your first 5, your first 10, your first 15. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take some time to narrow down the kind of client that suits you. So give it some time. Trust the process. Be patient. The other question I got a lot is, you know, when is the right time to walk away from your job to freelance? And I give this answer to entrepreneurs as well. You know, it depends. It all depends on you. It depends on your responsibilities. It depends on your income. It just depends. When I was much younger, I didn't have a child yet. I didn't own a home of my own. We didn't have a car. We didn't have any kind of responsibility. So it was okay for me to experiment with jobs here and there. It was okay for me to get this job today. Maybe it was working out for me a couple months later. Leave it to try something else. All of those things are great. And that's why I encourage people to do as much as you can while you can before you take on lots of additional responsibilities. Now, in the position that I'm in, it would take a lot more for me to give up something that I'm doing that's earning me money to do something else. And that's because my level of responsibility has changed. I have to think about my child, I have to think about the house, I have to think about the car, I have to think about different things that are going on around me to make sure that I am okay before I make that kind of decision. So that's the advice I'm going to give you. You know, look at your monthly expenses, your bare minimum needs. What do you need in order to, you know, survive, or in order to maintain your lifestyle? Think of it from that perspective. And once you have, I would suggest having at least 3 months of that saved up and still having a stable freelancing job before you even consider that. But as I said, it's up to you. When I was young, I didn't have any savings. I was just moving around. So It's really up to you. You can set yourself a goal and work towards the goal. If you want to leave your job within the next 6 months to a year, set that goal, set the income goal, and work towards it. So at least you know what you're working towards. Now, if you're working in the short term and you're just doing it part-time like I was, just to earn extra money, set a money goal and give yourself a time frame to get that. If you don't have a goal, you're going to be less and less motivated to get on the platform and apply for jobs. You're going to be less motivated to come home from work and then go and do client work. It's just not going to work. So you need a goal in mind when it comes on to working part-time online. Even full-time, you can set yourself goals so that you don't get bored. You know, it's good to always challenge yourself to do more or to do a little better than you did yesterday. So those are my tips for you guys. If you're looking to do this part-time, if you're looking to do this full-time, these are some things you need to bear in mind in order to apply, get the job, to make sure you're in a position where you can keep the job and you're having the right mindset towards applying and towards getting these jobs. All right, remember, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Next week we are talking about the last portion of the freelancing section, which I believe again is the most important, and I think it's the one reason why so many freelancers do not make it past 5 figures, past 6 figures and beyond. So see you guys next week with that part. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.